lettuce and germs. The temperature outside right now is below freezing. But I have for you another sneak peek video. Yeah, I know. You probably want me to get to that PCXT 286 over there sooner rather than later, but I don't know. I've got a lot of things to work on, but I'm making another one of these videos just really to demonstrate the poor packaging. I don't even know what you'd really call this, because for all intents and purposes the packaging, I guess, isn't terrible, but something about the way that this box appears to be rather haphazardly constructed is not really filling me with a lot of confidence. Still going to go ahead and open it. Now, with the way that this is being done, I'm not too sure I can do all of this on camera, but I'll certainly give it a try. I think I'm cutting into something. I don't know. This isn't really the best way to do this. I don't really know what the seller has done with this. Yeah, I'm going to have to stop the video here and go at this a little bit more with both my hands. I got it part of the way open. Might be able to see some eBay tape in there. I don't know if they tried making like a smaller box out of a larger one. I have to think that's the angle here. That's definitely what it looks like to me. Yeah, that's definitely what it looks like to me. This looks like a UPS box. No, I don't mean United Parcel Smashers, who delivered this, by the way. That was the postal company in charge of doing this. I actually cut through this by accident. Thankfully, it wasn't anything important. But, yeah, I don't know about this. This is probably going to be another one of those two-hand jobs. So there's the computer. And the packaging inside, a little bit brutally mutilated, because I tried picking it up one way and that didn't really work. You might even be able to tell what this is just by looking at it. I don't know what it is about eBay sellers and packaging, but this is what's left of this box, because I started tearing it apart. And look at this. Like, what is this? You know, I guess when you can't find a box that's the right size, you gotta do what you gotta do. I know there's probably some galumphing greenies that are out there that are gonna be like, hey, it's recycling, man, don't be dissing the recycling, but I don't know. There is something to be said for using proper packaging materials, and it doesn't even really matter that there's some recycling here, because they still use styrofoam. You know, it didn't get rid of that. Certainly not the need for that. So, you know, I'm going to tear the rest of this box apart, and, you know, we'll see where we go from there. Okay, got more of this packaging off. Yeah, really kind of subpar the more I dig into it. And look at how little bubble wrap is actually on that to do any kind of real protection of this in any way. Like, I mean, yes, styrofoam exists, and it's not bad, but the biggest thing that's going to protect this is bubble wrap, and there's really just none of it on this. Boy, I hope it survived. Those of you who know your computers well are probably shouting at your screens about now, you idiot, those things could survive being thrown off the Empire State Building. Maybe when they were new, but they're not new anymore, and you need to remember that there is some plastic, I think. You know, I actually don't know on this model if there's any plastic, but I know that on some of them there's certainly plastic. And plastic is about one of the least gracefully aging components of a computer. So, I don't know. And again, there's plastics. There's certainly plastic inside. But, I guess I won't know till I get all this bubble wrap off. Certainly used enough tape. Okay, so we got that off. Well, actually wasn't too bad, but again, look at how thin that is. That's supposed to protect it. And I know, I said earlier, it bears repeating that I'm probably courting a visit from the carbon tax apologists for daring to complain about recycled packaging materials, but, you know, that's an odd hill to die on, considering what 90% of it, well, okay, maybe not 90%, but certainly about 50% of it is. You know, look at all this tape and plastic. Well, the tape's plastic too. And styrofoam. Where's that gonna go? Well, it's just gonna go straight in the trash. That's where that's gonna go. So, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, that's an odd hill to die on. And oh, by the way, that's not a... by calling them the carbon tax apologists, is not a free pass to, if you're on the other side of the fence, to start an all-out brawl in my comments section over green policy. Because guess what? Not the point of the video. And you will get banned. I have got no qualms about doing that. This is not a political channel. This is not a political video. If you really want to hear some of my political opinions, there's a possibility I might go into some of them on like my video log channel or something. Back to the subject at hand. Here it is. Yes, IBM Personal System 2, you were correct. It was a Model 70. It's the 1.44 meg floppy. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this. Just that it looks like it survived. Pretty much intact. That's nice. It's nice of it. I'll have to see if it powers on. Kind of an odd modem. Pretty standard otherwise. Nothing really to write home about. Now, how the cover comes off of one of these, I'm not 100% sure, because I know that on the others, like the other design, you can see some of them down there, it pulls off from the front. So, I'm probably going to need two hands to do this. Like I said, I don't really know how this cover comes off. I think it pulls off like this. I was correct. So here you can see inside, special floppy drive. I hope it's good. There's the power supply. Not sure who made this one. Oh, this is an Aztec custom power unit. Let's see. Do I remember the outputs? Or where it would even say such a thing? Maximum continuous output power is 132 watts. Ain't that something? I think there are REFAs in these, so that could certainly explode. Likewise, there are a whole bunch of tantrum capacitors on the main board. Those could certainly explode. This does have 32-bit expansion. Although that slot that you're looking at is a 16-bit slot. It says HP. I wonder if that's a HP interface board. And then this modem. It's actually branded by Intel. Kind of interesting to see. 120 megabyte hard drive. Wowee. Turn on the afterburners. Of course, it's direct bus attachment, or roughly ESDI compatible. And you can see all the plastic inside here. There's a battery. Almost certainly dead, but I'll leave it there just in case it's not. And look at this. Not sure you see these very often. Do you think I can get it out of here? This is actually used to remove little plastic snaps. Now, of course, in a lot of systems, these are broken. So, go ahead and we'll put that back where it came from, because that's a nice thing to have. See a little bit of the main board in there. This is a little bit of a slightly different design from the Model 50, which is kind of similar, but not quite. It would be almost interesting to power this on and just see what it does. But I don't want to get too in-depth here. It looks like it's intact. And of course, with all this plastic all over the place, it's really kind of hard to tell. Oh, what the hey. I'll put the cover on it because I certainly don't want it to explode in my face, but we'll see if this thing will actually power on. And maybe if it'll even smoke out the garage with a blown reefer or something. Maybe I should check the listing first and see if it was actually working, because, you know, I don't honestly remember. Okay, I've decided that we will power this on. Even though I'm not really sure I want to power it on out here in the cold, but plugged in the keyboard and mouse. Even though this mouse is a cheap piece of crap, I'd prefer it didn't blow it up. I mean, it is a optically tracked PS2 mouse, and those are kind of nice. The keyboard, though, that's a piece of shit. I don't really care about it. And yes, I said what you think I said, and I meant it. I don't know, folks. I'm kind of nervous about this, because these are somewhat famous for blowing up, and I haven't had a vintage computer explode on me in a long time. I think the power switch on the front is off. Now, those REFAs are power suppression capacitors. They could explode at any moment. Now it's on. I have no video. Oh, there's the video. I'm keeping my distance because if that thing does blow up... Look at that. 6 megs of RAM. 165. That's a configuration mismatch. So it'll need some work with the reference disk, but the floppy drive sounded good. Not sure about that hard drive. That didn't really sound like it was working. I'll give it another try here. Oh no, it is working. You can definitely hear it in there. Figures, the one time I think a computer is going to blow up on camera, it doesn't. But, yeah, there you go. Definitely promising. Just a short little postscript. I should clarify some comments about REFAs earlier. REFA is a brand of capacitor, most commonly used for suppression, X and Y capacitors, in power supplies. But I'm not entirely sure if this has REFAs in it. It may be too new. Having said that, the X capacitors are well known for blowing up in these things. And when they do, they smell like wood smoke. It's really kind of interesting. I have had that happen before in a computer, and it's like I said, it's a very odd experience. So stay tuned, and at some point there should be a video, and it probably won't actually be too far away. Probably the same thing with those PS2s down there, at least one of them. I don't know about the other one yet.